going to show you a video today on joining two pieces of metal together, soldering them with extra easy solder. Sometimes you want, say, a belt buckle. You know, you need a pretty thick belt buckle mostly. You don't want a real thin one. And say they want the top of that belt buckle sterling silver. Well, to get a piece of sterling silver that thick would be a lot of money and hard to come by unless you roll it out yourself. And this method, you can take, say, a piece of nickel and add a thin layer of sterling to the top of it, say 22 gauge, and then you can dome that as one piece. And you've got sterling all over the top that you can engrave and not cut through, like some of these metals that you buy that have a real thin layer of sterling or even plating. You know, you can't engrave those. So anyway, this is a method that you can do. Today what I'm doing is I'm joining a piece of 16 gauge nickel to a piece of 22 gauge cold roll steel. And what this does is enable me to have a nickel back and steel front, which I can overlay with sterling pieces and a brand and all that. The nickel back is a good thing on buckles because it keeps them from rusting, whereas if it was all steel, like one solid piece of steel, then you know, it can rust on the back where it touches your skin and things like that. With nickel back there, it doesn't. And then what the steel does for you is you can brown or blue this steel, whereas the nickel you couldn't, or sterling you can't. You have to have a porous type metal that can accept the browning and the bluing. So what I'm doing is joining this piece of nickel to this piece of steel, and then I'll cut around it and cut it out, and then I'll proceed with it and dome it and do the whole buckle that way. Then I'll have a piece of steel on the front of the buckle, nickel on the back. I can overlay the front and have my surfaces to brown it. So this is the way I'm going to join these two pieces together. I wanted to show that to you today. I use a air acetylene torch. I call it a turbo torch, but I don't know that that's the proper name for it. But I use just a bottle of acetylene, and then it mixes air in with it. I'm using the big tip today because I need to get a lot of heat on this all over. And I've got a ceramic stone here that I use to, it'll kind of hold the heat for me. What I've done is I've taken some spray alcohol and I've cleaned the nickel already. I'm going to just spray this. I'm going to spray the back of this steel, and I just like to clean it off good. Make sure there's no oils and things like that to where my flux and solder will stick good. I'm using a handy flux, and what I'm going to do is paste them both up, and I'm going to paste them with handy flux. I'm going to place my nickel on top of the steel, and then I'm going to use the little stainless clips I've showed you how to build all around this thing to keep it absolutely flat on the steel. Then I'm going to put it on this ceramic block and I'm going to start heating it up, and I'll show you from there how I'm going to add the solder. I'm going to add it around the edges. I'm not going to tin this because I want it to sit real flat. Okay, as you can see, I've got this all fluxed up. I've got my clamps all the way around the edge, and I really recommend making some of these clips. You can find that on my channel on another video. Anyway, make some of these clips because you need to hold those two flat together. If you can't hold them flat together and they're not perfectly straight with each other, they're not going to solder up. So anyway, we've got the torch and we've got it pasted. We're going to start heating on it. We're going to try to concentrate the heat evenly on this thing so our solder goes all the way under all of this metal. Okay, one good thing about videos is you can edit out mistakes, but I don't want to do that here. I want to show you something. I had forgotten about these buckles. When you're putting a second layer on it, you need to cut out the center portion right here, a little bit off of the edges. What happens is the heat, this is so thin that this starts drawing up and it'll start bowing your piece in the center. I've got it soldered all the way around real good, but right here in the center it started bowing up on me, and then I remembered that I always cut out this middle piece just off of the silver to keep it from doing that, and this will make it more like just an overlay. But anyway, I cleaned it up with Dawn soap, straightened it back out, got the center cut out, and put new flux on it. We're going to heat it up again right in this area and get this center sealed up. Okay, I think we got it that time. You could see it took a lot of solder to go under this. Now you can tin these, you can tin this nickel and then put it back on there and clamp this all down and get it to flow. But I've done it that way before. Sometimes it works, sometimes I can't get it to flow. So I prefer to just add the solder in around the edges. But you can do it either way. You can tin it or add the solder like I was adding it. Anyway, we've got it nice and flat. We've got it soldered, solder showing all the way around. I've added lots of solder to it, so I'm real certain that this buckle will hold together through the doming process. Now what we're going to do next is clean it up a little bit, cool it off. We're going to trim that all out, and then I'll dome it. The main purpose of this video today was just to show you that you can join two pieces of metal, steel and silver, steel and nickel, nickel and silver, on buckles, jewelry, whatever you want to do. And I was just trying to show you some soldering methods for doing that. This method's always worked real good for me, other than that one little mistake I made there by not cutting the center of that buckle out. That buckle has a wide open space there, and you have that thin metal going across there, and it just started drawing up on me. But once I cut that out, I overcame that problem. So just showing you that I'm not perfect, and but we got it done, and I hope this tip will help you. Hey folks, I wanted to show you the end result here. You know, we joined the metal there, and didn't know. I was pretty certain that it would hold up through the doming process. I was pretty certain I got all soldered all the way across there, and I did. You can see we've got the buckle domed, and we've got steel on this side and nickel on this side. My purpose for doing this is I'm fixing to overlay this with sterling silver, but there will be steel showing between that sterling and that steel I'll be browning. And with the steel layer on top of that nickel, I'm able to brown it, because you know you can only brown steel and not silver and nickel and those things. So that will make make the silver really stand out with that brown behind it. And you've probably seen some of my other buckles on my channel that are browned with sterling and brass on them and things like that. Anyway, this is the first time I've showed you the process of doing the steel on top and the nickel on the bottom. And it just keeps it from rusting when it's up against your body. Some of the all steel buckles, they can rust, the brown can wear off and things like that. But with this nickel back, it's always nice and polished on the back. Hey, I appreciate y'all tuning in. Take a look at my channel. I've got a lot of different videos on there. I think I've got 76 or 77 videos, and you're bound to find something that you're needing. I'm getting a few questions that say, hey John, why don't you do this? But I've already done it. So just take a look through that channel and all those videos, and I'm sure you'll find something that you need. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. See y'all later.